All right, what's up? Another day, another dollar. We are trading. Good day overall. Had some winners and some losers, but at the end of the day, we're feeling pretty good. Once we have a minute or two, I'll go over stats. Not that it matters, right? It really doesn't matter. Just execute trades, minimize risk. Nothing super special here. Right now, we're in this little small Dorito. Price is compressing into a tighter range. We expect to have either a retest of the session high, New York session. It's March 10th, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, 12:20-ish Eastern time. I'm in the mountain time zone, so I'm 2 hours behind. So New York session opens at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time for me. So down here, we have pretty strong protection of just buyers in general. Lots of effort in these zones. We drove up through the initial balance 1 hour high, continued to drive up, found some absorption at the top. Buyers got absorbed, had some aggressive buying, came back and retested, absorbed again, made a lower high. Buyers got absorbed lower and lower. Sellers stepped in this red zone, aggressive sellers, pushing the price down, a little bit of consolidation and a battle before price pushes back to test this, where a bunch of aggressive buyers have stepped in today, especially at the initial balance high, which is basically a little bit above 50% of this zone that I just created by looking at the price structure. Now it looks like we're breaking through this little Dorito. We're testing trend line, and we do break through. Aggressive buyers have showed their face again, and that's the biggest of the day. So that's massive. So some sellers stepped in, but that's pretty bullish, to be honest, right there. If we can kind of get a close above this area, this is where a bunch of sellers were before. Now buyers have stepped in. Can we close a little bit higher? These are 40 range bars. So now I'm gonna redo our trend line here. Looks like we tested. We'll also redraw our Dorito. So the range is expanding a little bit. We're retesting. Let's see if these sellers are still here. Might get a nice little trade here back up to test the high. Gonna be patient though. Came in, tested this low volume node, had a reaction, and we're gonna put a buy stop if we have time. Just one contract. Above this zone. So the idea is if buyers step back in, we're going to take the momentum up to the high. Right? We're not trying to be in for a long time, just for a good time. And this area is likely to get broken because it's already been retested, right? So we had a reversal, broke through it. Maybe we try to retest and take price higher. So we're retesting this low volume node over here. Looks like sellers are actually, I have to reevaluate. Some aggressive sellers and passive sellers are taking control. Coming back to our trend line, we get a bullish reaction where sellers were absorbed in the past. See if we can hold this trend line or break below it. This is a battle zone. So it's kind of a danger zone. So what happened was we created this big range right here. Then we basically broke the low, tapped back into deeper in the zone. And we could be still a big seller area. We could make our way all the way back down to retest the bottom of the zone. So at the moment, I'm looking like a shorts in play. So we're going to need to see kind of in this zone. Let's move one of these down here. That would be target for us. If we pop in a short back, that's the initial balance high, as a matter of fact. Interesting. Buyers have come back into play, back to our original plan, right? Can we break through this Dorito to either side? Or do we just consolidate in this range for a while? Being at lunchtime in New York right now, 12:30, we could just see some consolidation here at the top. So if I drew a volume profile just for this range, you can see that we're building. This is the daily range from the New York Open. Say we're definitely building value. All right, now we have some making higher lows and higher highs. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Becoming the bottom of our channel. We still have these sellers present. So we're likely to have consolidation in this area right here. So we could play some scalps here if we wanted to just scalp this really small range, right? Between this purple zone and the green zone, I can get rid of this now because I just printed. And we'll remove this zone. It's also a point of control for the session. So just ranging through this Dorito. It's pretty strong. We have 4 wicks there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bottom one. Uh, Roads lead to higher prices right now. We're retesting an area where lots of buyers were present before. Trying to break through this selling effort zone. We're accepting higher prices. Rated 1, 2, 3 shelves. It's pretty strong. But anything could happen, right? Some news could fly. Um, we're gonna be patient here. Maybe returning back to this low volume node or this effort zone before moving higher. So we're still in a very strong consolidation area. This is essentially the last 2 hours of trading. Sellers will absorb really heavy. Right there. And possibly looking for a breakout to the long side to extend even farther. We've already hit the protection level for the day, which is right here. And we're above it. So we could definitely extend farther. So we're right above, we're testing that protection level right now, right where these large orders are. So this is a key spot. The moment I'm looking long, but I'd really like to get a better entry down here. It just may not come back because we have a point of control. Let's put a VWAP on here too. I guess it doesn't put the VWAP on there when we go from the. Let's change this to the left. Okay, so the VWAP is way down here. Okay, so we just have to exercise patience here. It's a pretty steep incline. It's like 60 degrees, maybe 75. Lots of buying up here. Lots of buying. So I don't know if we come back, to be honest, because we have pretty significant buying up here and sellers got absorbed right there. So we could kind of have a long bias right now. But we have to be patient because we're currently building value in this range. There's clearly a battle between buyers and sellers that's extending lower right here. So Let's see what happens. Here, let's make this line a little better. Okay, so we got our effort zone is still down here. However, if we fail, I don't know if I'm really interested in getting in a long if we break through this trend line. But right now, buyers are protecting this zone. We just broke above it and failed. So some resistance is still present. So that was just one contract here. If we decide to enter, still like the original plan of tapped in this low volume node. We're still testing, so like we're not there yet. But we are trying to break through this trend line. On both sides. And buyers fail. So now do we come back to this zone? So this is our protection right here. I could even say right here. All right, so I just set a 2:15 appointment for the client, make some real money. All right, so this is kind of the zone where I wanted to get involved before. But now I'm more inclined to, man, I could take a scalp up and then down. Because I do think we hold this range for a while. We're going to do it. We're going to take a scalp up to the top. Just a small scalp. Put our risk behind this absorption area. So it's about a 1-to-1. Anything could happen. Keep the risk tight. So overall, we've had a pretty good day. Across all accounts, we're up. We're up $80 on this performance account, 160 on that performance account, and to pull up my other account. It's definitely not boring today. I actually like the price action. I got wrecked at the beginning of the session, and slowly have just grinded myself back to 160 in the negative, and I'm up 500 on this account and done trading it for the day. So overall, we're having a good day. Still having a hard time, but we are in a consolidation zone and we are in the lunch hour. So, as expected, missed our profit by a couple ticks up here, a couple ticks short, a couple ticks off. So, we're holding the initial balance high. We're above these strong effort zones. We're creating value higher. And the point of control is right here. So we just nickel and diming our way back to break even for this account. Here we go. Another little small scalp. Now this is a zone where we could anticipate seeing another selling reaction, or do buyers just rip back through and continue to move the price up? Okay, now we're back. So we're in this consolidation. Coming to retest this trend line. So we're still consolidating in this range. So we're just kind of playing this little small scalp game. But looks like price is starting to break out. So we just broke out of the short-term value area. Now we're in this value area high. For the short-term profile, you can definitely see that value has moved up higher, point of control is higher, the VWAP is also moving up higher. At some point, we could definitely see a return all the way down to the VWAP. This is where buyers stepped in before. Again, we have this strong protection. And we're just consolidating around the point of control. Buyers are getting, sometimes you click and nothing happens. It's so sensitive. All right, now, so this is where lots of, let's make it red. Lots of absorption of buyers is happening. So we came up, made a lower high, lower high, lower high, equal high, equal high. You can call that an equal high. So can we break through, right? So every time we retraced, we had a strong reaction and moved back up. On the opposite side, resistance, responsive selling. Buyer stepped in, 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 responsive selling. Buyer stepped back in higher. Buyer stepped back in higher again. Buyer stepped in higher. Equal low. Sellers get absorbed right here. So we are in a battle. Not only did sellers get absorbed here, aggressive buyers stepped in as well. So could say right here. That's a level. Still having strong resistance or responsive selling. We did break through the trend line, so we're also above. Uh, this looks kind of bullish, or looks like we might get some more extension to the upside. There is more room to extend. But we are testing that protection level. this little this line right here. It's just really rejected off of the point of control. Must be from a previous day, this point of control. What is it from? Daily point of control. Okay, I guess that's from the overnight. Okay, so that's from the overnight or the previous. Yeah, it's from the overnight. So overnight point of control, New York point of control. We're above both. Man, this is actually not boring. I'm gonna bring up financial juice on. Ooh, there we go. We're starting to break back into that zone. Still no clear direction. Break back into the wedge. Russia resumes grain exports to Iran via Caspian Sea. Okay. Trump expects to hold. Treasury, okay. Russia resumes exports. Trump expected to hold. Event in Kentucky, okay. Fed bids, okay. So it's buying some treasuries. Man, I just don't really see us extending higher. AI is having a profound effect on the banking sector. RBC, I don't know who RBC is. What company? Okay. EIA does not expect OPEC plus to significantly raise production next year, given estimates of significant inventory builds over forecasted period. Retesting that level, fuck, maybe we are breaking out, right? Yeah, we reject off of it again. But buyers are strong here. This reversal zone has already been tapped into. So generally we could break that and continue higher. So like now the longs look pretty good, but man, it's hard to be bullish, but that's what the price action is showing right now. So I can't let my opinions of what I think is going to happen affect my decisions on what is actually happening. What is actually happening is we're retesting the high of the day. We ripped away from this protection level that we broke earlier that is now acting as shit. This is probably just as I drew this green zone right here is now going to be protection. So buyers are going to protect this zone right here. We have some more effort. So it may not come back down here. As I mentioned earlier, we have another strong effort zone. And we're going to retest this trend line that we just broke through. Trend line still active. This coincides with me evaluating this being a protection level for buyers now. Buyers are just going to protect this level. But it's really hard to get into a long here. I don't know shit about options. So SPX Greek hedging. Look at that. It tapped off the zone perfectly and continued up. I don't know what this means really. We'll be honest. I understand what hedging is, but I don't know what all that means. But I want to make a note of that. And there it is. Okay, I need to really play around with Notion AI a little bit more. Okay, so we tap back into that zone again. Okay, where's our next trend line? I'm very cautious here. So we broke through that zone, coming all the way back down to the point of control. Making higher highs. Still looks bullish. VWAP sloping up. This longer term interesting trend line I have drawn here. Do we come back and test it? It's a question. Test. It looks bullish. All right, let's read this while it's fresh in the mind. Watch the price action. All right. Think of big options dealers like market makers as people who need to constantly adjust their positions to stay balanced when a lot of options are being traded in the SPX. These dealers have to buy or sell the actual futures contract to hedge their risk. This Okay, so it's the market major makers hedging their risk. Option dealers. So the dealers are hedging. Big market makers in the options market are hedging in the futures market. Okay. This activity creates flows in the future market. Okay. Well, maybe that's important to know. Yeah, that sounds important. So breaking down the numbers, delta. Yeah, that sounds important. So breaking down the numbers, delta hedging, 18.7 billion. This is a big one. When SPX moves up or down, dealers need to buy or sell a lot of futures to stay hedged. For example, if the market goes up, they might need to sell 18.7 billion worth of futures. This creates pressure in the futures market and can amplify moves, pushing prices further in the direction they're already going. Vega hedging. This relates to the changes in volatility expectations. When traders think volatility increases, dealers adjust their positions. This means buying or selling futures based on volatility changes, not just price moves. Similar number, but smaller number, but still meaningful. Theta. This is a daily time decay effect. Everyday options lose a little value just from time passing. Dealers make small adjustments to the counts for this. Okay. But it's the smallest of the three effects. So delta biggest, vega second, theta third. If you're trading SPX futures, knowing about these three dealer flows helps you understand why markets move more aggressively at certain times. Larger delta hedging flows can create momentum. If the market is falling, dealers selling can make it fall harder. If it's rising, dealers buying can push it higher. Okay, so I need to do a little bit more understanding of that, but generally, in layman's terms, that makes sense. Okay, let's just have some fun here since we're kind of in limbo, right? We're in this consolidation. Still broke out of this shorter time frame wedge. We're in a higher time frame wedge. This line right here is drawn from a previous high that we've yet to revisit. This green zone is we've just had strong buying support here. And we've had strong responsive selling up here at the top. And this was our extension level that we would consider an achievable target when we break the initial balance high. Now, the average extension when we have an initial balance break, which is not what has been happening lately because we're more in a ranging market than a trending market, we could expect to come all the way up here. So let's zoom out a little bit and look at like a higher time frame view. So this is the morning New York session. We've extended approximately 288 points today. This extension average take us up 398 points. So there's still a lot of room. It's another 100 points. And then all the way up here to the extension standard, we have another 300 points. So it looks like we're getting some buyers stepping in now. Looks like we broke through, created a new high. Buyers stepping in at the top. Yeah, the New York's back from lunch. And we're buying. So we're going to plan on seeing this through, buying the top, see if we can extend up. today. Putting our stop loss behind this protection zone, which also happens to be this trend line. If we revisit it, may take on some heat here. I would likely add another contract if we come back down to, let's find a spot. If it's necessarily dollar cost averaging, but if it just rips up, I wanna have a piece of it. And if it comes back, okay, this looks like a very nice re-entry point. So very bullish. So what did we see? Okay, so price opened up, created a high first, then created the low, creating an equal low or a double bottom right here before extending higher. Now breakouts have been few and far in between right now. So like wouldn't say it's a high probability chance, but I kind of looking at the price action, say we really broke through this, retested this trend line, and we continued to move up. So lots of protection and buying up here. So really strong protection. I would say that we can even move this up higher. We want. So if we do come back and get filled, we'll be in for two. That would be a nice trade to finish up the day. Interestingly enough, if we draw this across, that's now resistance. Even better. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Here's another cool chart. Let's take a look at the is this ETH? Let's look at RTH. So this is for the last 4 months. So I want to go 6 months. 180. We go 180 days. Just let that trade cook. Let's see what we can see. So 180 days. Oh yeah, I had this level marked. What level is that? Right there. 25 to 21. Okay, 25 to 21. Where was the previous area of balance? $25 282. It's 25 218. $25 296. $25 300. Okay, I like it. 2500, 25 350. So these would be two targets I'd be looking at. 25 340. Maybe all the way up to 25 365, something like that. But we could also just sweep the high. And there's a couple levels of resistance here. Maybe we take, this is interesting. It's 25 218. So this right here is fine. So these are previous day highs. Wow, we didn't get filled there. Isn't that crazy? Did not get filled. We tapped right into that shit and bounced. Come on, baby. Don't do that to me. You know I love you. Why you wanna do me like that? I wouldn't be surprised for it to come back to my entry, which just kind of sucks, right? Because we basically top ticked our fucking, well, one tick away. One tick away. I don't need to just pull my exits a little bit short of where I think it's gonna go. That's just ridiculous. So we come back to our entry and yeah, retesting. Feel well protected, only taking on $25 of risk. Hopefully we can come back up and hit this TP after missing it by a tick. And a winner could turn into a loser very easily. So the fun play would have been to take profit, then re-enter, come back down, re-enter. But that was not fun to watch that. So sellers are stepping in, but they're being absorbed by buyers. It's just such a shitty number to reject on 25,218. So we just get stopped out, which is fine. We're happy to re-enter here. Just see a little bit of a response. So right there, that's a good entry. Do think there's more room to the upside. We're actually going to add a second here. Stop loss. Take profit. So we're protected below this strong buying zone. If we break this zone, clearly invalidated, and we're going to maybe retrace and make our way back down to the VWAP, which at one point, if that happens, if we break this zone, I'm going to flip my bias. But I do feel like we have some more room to the upside. See if buyers are still here. Very, very strong, buying area. Sellers are going to have to do a lot of work to get through unless the buyers are just not here anymore. And sellers are pushing pretty good here. This is not looking good for the home team. All right, so back in to the trend line. Buyers are coming back, and now we break to the bottom. So this is where it gets interesting. Really wanted to enter right here. Okay, so we take profit on one. What a day. What a day. So much fun. Still so much trading to do. So let's hope we get filled here too. We're attempting to come back to this area where we had a lot of selling pressure. We tapped into the zone, but I think we can pull back a little deeper here. Now it looks like we're gonna have some consolidation between these two zones. So we could do a limit buy, take profit, just a quick 1-to-1, stop loss, not a little less than 1-to-1. We actually haven't tapped into this zone, so I entered a little early on that. I'm not going to take that much loss. I'm just putting it there for now. Be awesome if we tap off of this trend line right here. And we take this, actually, man, I think we're going to come all the way down to there. But our plan was to take it to here. Like how that sell zone printed. Almost makes you want to add another right there. But we're going to stay conservative. It's always another trade. So that would be an add. Let's just stick with it. So I'm gonna put this here for reference. Like that would be the non-greedy. But lots of selling pressure here. So this is looking good. Looking good for us. So we'll be adding in another contract here. All right, taking on a little heat. Insane. This isn't safe. All right, I'm okay to get in another short here, but we need to see a reaction right here. I'm willing to retry this one more time. Right at this zone right up here. We need to wait. Buyer stepping in. Just looking for a little absorption here. Where buyers get absorbed lower. That's what I would like to see. Okay, and we're going to put a sell stop right below here. Take profit. It's back at the POC here. That's why that's there. Market is moving nicely. I like to see us return to this VWAP, which is the initial balance high as well, or initial balance high. Yeah. But right now, the bulls are having the best of it. We get a strong push up right here above these levels. I'm just going to close it out and try again for a better spot. Anything is possible here. This is really strong buying pressure in this zone, so I'm fading it, which isn't really really looking like the best idea right now. So if we break up above this level right here, I'm out. We'll re-enter. We'll just take our $80 loss and re-enter. Get a few extra ticks there. I don't think there's a clear indication that we're gonna go down any farther. The only thing that I see is a lower high, but price is holding the zone that I talked about earlier, and I'm fading it for some reason. So so how did that end up? I said this zone is like really strong, and now I'm fading it into a buy zone. So fuck, right? And sellers get absorbed here, right? Let's see if we can break through that level and find our way back to the point of control. I mean that's the play, right? We're taking it back to the lower high, back to the point of control, lower high, lower low. So close. And if we actually hit our TP here before getting stopped out, this was risky, right? Because this is a buy effort zone, and I pretty much I'm fading it. So I think it's a coin flip. I don't think, but what I do see is we're still above the point of control. We're in this strong buying zone. Sellers trying to push price back down here, absorbing buyers. So technically my stop needs to be up here. A little more risk than I want to take on. So, but you only live once. This is promising though, because I see lower buyers. Yeah, this is promising, but I'm not out of the woods by any way, shape, or form. And today's been on this particular account, it's just been a struggle to get back to break even. That being said, I really think I've traded well today. And I like the decisions I'm making and the patience that I'm showing. And I am acting on the information that I see in the real time data and the levels. But at the same time, I'm being very cautious, limiting my exposure. I'm okay with a negative risk to reward ratio. And my targets are pretty good. My stops are maybe a little tighter than I'd like, but better safe than sorry. There's always another trade. You have to say these things to yourself over and over again to reinforce good habits to stay out of the emotional side of trading, which is the biggest killer of all. Poor risk management and emotional. So even here, I'm like, man, I should just put it right there, right? Just why, if these sellers can't hold this zone, why am I gonna stay in the trade? Right? Why? I'm not gonna look for another attempt on another failure or flip my bias to long. Right. So we're just in this really strong zone right now. Um, Lots of two-way trade happening. No clear direction. We did see here those higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, lower high, higher high, higher high, lower high. We could trend continues, make another higher high and stop me out right here. I mean, that's completely possible. Or we can start to make lower lows and work our way back down to this trend line and VWAP. Who knows? Who knows? What I do know is we're respecting this trend line for the moment. Or we're making on the shorter term lower highs. Lower lows. Since buying zone disappeared, I like that. It's been tapped into multiple times. So I like the fact that we're holding underneath this trend line, and I also like the fact that we're holding under this trend line. All right, so buyers are still protecting this zone. And so sellers are also stepping in. Insane. Insane in the brain. All right, so super excited that I was disciplined. So sellers are now stepping in. Now we're retesting the point of control or expect a reaction. So buyers are absorbing the selling pressure here at the point of control. So before we get into another position, what we're going to need to see is a clean break of this point of control with maybe a retest of it. So we can re-establish, we can see that we have a clear break here. Looks like it rejected off of that trend line again. We really need to see the break of the point of control here before we can act. I mean, I think this would be preemptive, although that is pretty clean. All right, so there's our break. And we're in. Stop loss is going to be above. Take profit. This next zone down here. Hell, let's be honest here. We're going to take on a little more risk and we're going to go for a wider target. Okay, so this is going to shift. Interesting. Is that a better target right here? Our sellers got, I think so. I think so. So this is where buyers stepped in right there. So we're back above the point of control again. Buyer stepping back in to protect this buying zone. Let's see what happens. They're getting absorbed. Wow, that was a quick move. Insane. Going back into this zone. We'll take another sell opportunity. We just bounced off the VWAP. Crazy. Back to the initial balance high. That's the daily VWAP right here. Like right there. That shows the daily VWAP. That shit. Back to the value area low for the day, the midpoint. It's an opportunity for a scalp to the upside, retest initial balance high. Beautiful. Be another limit buy opportunity down here. So right there. Sellers getting absorbed at the value area low, which is also the daily midpoint. Lots of volatility. Bars are moving fast. Both buyers and sellers are stepping in. Looks like sellers are getting absorbed. Um, Aggressive buyers trying to take control. And it looks like for the short term, they're doing a good job. Anything could happen. Reduce our risk. Not sure if I'm a fan of that. We're just gonna let it hit my stop if that's what happens. This is not looking pretty. And my bias is still long. We have a level right here. This is gonna move fast. We could win or lose very quickly here. Some really good volatility. Sellers got absorbed in the past heavily. Man, what a big retracement. So we're at the golden pocket 618 of this entire move. So this is a level where buyers stepped in before. Pretty big level. Could have entered at that 707, but I want to enter lower. But man, it bounced right off the 707. That was it. Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let's see if it keeps going lower though. Shit, it could make it all the way to the 786, right? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? So we get back above this 0.50, we can enter long again up to the POC as well. So let's see what happens. This might be a mean reversion play. This might be a mean reversion play. So it looks like it's setting up for. Man, it would be great to get our entry down here. So we broke back into the value area right now. And we're going long. Back to the POC. Back to the POC. Stop loss. Find the swing low. Find the swing low. Man, that would have been a nice little scalp. Question is, does it come back to this zone? I'm not going to chance it. But if it does, I'll likely add on. Come back to this VWAP. Just keep it easy. One contract. Risking 100 to make 200. You can always re-enter here. Let's just hold tight. That zone's not going to hold. I'm going to lock in the profits here at the VWAP. And if we retrace back to here, we'll add another. Do it again. What a day. Revisiting the trend line that we broke. right there. I think this is a good entry. I think this is a good entry. Stop loss. That's a fib line. All right, maybe it doesn't come back. That's what it's looking like. I don't think it's coming back. But let's stick with it. Let's stick with our entry. Flirting with that VWAP. Good times. So never came back, but we're retesting that trend line again. Still in the golden pocket, the 382 to the 618. So we just broke out of the golden pocket. So it's all right. We missed that entry, but on the side of conservative trading, because we're working towards a payout, we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna be happy with that because we could still come all the way back, right? We could still get a equal high to the left, another high. This could sweep all the way down to the lows, to be fair. crazy. Right on the 707. What what a crazy. I could have took that entry. It's insane. That might be the spot. That's 707. So that's just hilarious. 707 back to the 5 or the 382 before getting another movement back. Who knows, right? But this trend line here is holding as resistance at the moment. And we should probably draw a new one. See what happens here. Well, shit, do we get filled here or is this where we get a reversal right here? And we get filled. Buyers step in. Other aggressive big dogs felt the same way. We're gonna take our profit all the way up here at this effort zone with our stop loss down here. Man, the market is moving. Holy fuck. Wow. What? 51 points in like seconds. That was insane. What a good entry, though. What a good entry. Insane. Buyers just ripping. So, truth be told, I'm going to get back in on a retest of that level. because I'm still targeting this point of control way up here eventually. We may just go there now though. Like we may not come back because we're breaking through this trend line here. Reapproaching this trend line. This 382 is acting as strong, responsive selling, keeping it in the golden pocket. Currently below the VWAP. Okay, I'm gonna stay out of this one, but because that's like the golden pocket, right? We're just at the moment we're basically consolidating um here. So that's a no trade zone for me right now. I don't think it'd be wrong to take the extremes of the golden pocket here and just play the range. It seems more like I think that is the so just so a couple things. So we use aggregated big trades greater than 60. We use trend lines. So that broke through there. So we're gonna say still in the golden pocket. So aggregated trades, trend lines, volume profile. Delta profile. Important levels. We already took an entry from here, which was baller, by the way. This looks like a good double bottom candidate. I would be willing to take another long from right here. So we haven't tested that level yet. Actually, option is a long if we can get above that level. And short if we can get below that level. Starting to build a base right here. Right here. That's a potential target. But this right here was the move. Starting to migrate higher in the channel. Still in that golden pocket. Right at the 5-0, but we just came above it. So starting to get a little bit of momentum. Sellers are trying to step in. Looks like we might get another push here. Goes above. Breaking out of. Get above this VWAP. We're going to buy here. So that was a little reversal zone. So this is a little scalp just back up to the top of this range. It's the 0.382. It's just a little scalp. Put our stop loss back here. Actually, it's a 1-to-1 ish. Pretty strong rejection from the VWAP there just now. So we get stopped out there. Still bullish here. This is our protection. We break this zone. I feel like we're going lower. Let's see if these sellers are still here. Over here once, twice. Another tick, one tick off. Insane. We missed it by a tick. Do you feel like this can come back to retest this trend line? So we need to protect behind this zone right here. So let's get some reference. There we go. So we're still in that golden pocket, a little bit below the 50 now. Got some selling pressure. So aggressive selling, moderate volume, nothing too major here. Looks like we have some absorption happening right here. Sellers are working through the absorption. Buyers are eating. Man, buyers stepped in again. Have a strong negative delta candle with volume, with buyers stepping in to buy at this price right here. Is there enough to? Now we have some. Man, it's a battle. Yeah, a bunch of two-way trade happening in this zone right here. Pretty tight range. going to bust out pretty soon to one direction or the other. As far as the effort goes, it looks like selling pressure. Um, we missed this exit by one tick. So if sellers push through this red line here, I'm pretty much going to exit. We'll re-enter on some responsive buying. Looks like there's buyers here though. So, I mean, there's still a chance. But selling is strong. Just going to hold it. So redirected off this trend line and came back. So this could go either way. The this average line here, I think it's, I don't know what it is, but it's not a moving average. It's an effort. It's starting to flatten out and to curve back up. So that's kind of a good sign. We also bounced off this trend line. That's a good sign. And we still have our stop behind some protection where we feel safe. Buyers are really fighting hard. Sellers are really fighting hard. Anything can happen here. We can definitely go down lower. Um, so good probability that I get stopped out on this trade. This is an important trend line to hold. We break through that and we get through this effort zone here. I think we could go down to retest these lows, at which point I would look for another entry. Probably back down here again. Or Here even. Okay, so I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, that's interesting. Sellers just push through that effort. Buy zone. Buyers are this. We're still fighting for this line. Fighting for your life. This is nice. So a lot of these other lows were mitigated. Basically stops, right? Probably had some stops down here. Now price has permission to move back up higher. I don't know. Seems logical to me. Hell, I see a return to the VWAP in the initial balance high. If we continue to the upside, we should come all the way back to the point of control. But I like this target right here. If we come back up at all, because this area is, it's a fucking battle right now. It's a big battle, and it looks like sellers are winning. Winning. Sounds like Trump winning. Wow. Insane price action. Holy shit. Insane. No large aggregate orders printing, but the price action is real. And we finally get a break through the top of that zone. Fuck, it could just come back the opposite way now. Just sweep out the liquidity here and then just completely reverse. or we just break out to the upside here. So this is a logical area to retest. Initial balance high, an area we've rejected multiple times from where seller stepped in. It's also the VWAP. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Big wicks to the downside. What is gonna happen? Down, 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 down. Man, sellers are strong. Shit. It's all right. Insane. Yes. Let's go. Man, trading was so much fun today. Still got plenty of time. 45 minutes. Can't believe I've been watching the screen since 7:30 this morning. It's just time flies. 6.5, 6 hours plus. Retina burning. Man, I'll be so happy if just getting out of today break even. Um, but we got another chance. Even if this one fails, man, we got another chance. So I was down 675 to start the session, and I battled my way back to up about 174. And look at this. Look at it go. Let's go. Let's go. I can go take a shower. Still anticipate some more heat. Just look at what the okay, so buyers, let's kind of redo this now. So buyers stepping in like crazy right here. Let's call it to right there. So that's our protection. So I think this is the first level to pull back. Take the 46 and we'll go for a pullback. Well, fuck, I guess that was the pullback right there. Let's keep going. Let's just put it at the VWAP. We're going for it. I mean, it makes no sense not to look like all this buying pressure here. Just this is just a very strong zone. So I would venture to say we're not coming back today. So that's super strong buying right there. Still even more. So that would have been my initial target, right? This would have been my conservative target. This is my moderate target right here. And this is my greedy target. Okay, well, this moving so fast, we're going to give us a little more room. Oh, we just got stopped out. Motherfucker. I'm going to buy again here. Seller stepping in, even lower. And put our stop behind the low with our take profit. Still at the VWAP. Actually, we'll take one here. Guess this is right there. Crazy, crazy. Right back to, man, that's so nuts. Just back and forth. So we come back into, tap back into the reversal zone. We're just missing our targets, right? For these little scalps. Give us a little room because it could retest. This is interesting. We're taking some heat here, but I'm still confident. We're at that 707 line again. Retest double bottom. Or do we drop down to that 786? But our protection is going to be below right here. That's it. Likely going to tap back into this zone before moving back out of it. And we just got the tap. Do we get the follow through now? Is the question. Second tap. Sellers are pushing. Are the buyers still here? That is the question. Are the buyers still here? If not, we're getting stopped out. We could definitely re-enter. We're just going to be a little cautious here. I don't know what happened there. It's a pretty strong seller response there, to be honest. I do expect it to come back up here before moving any lower. And now it's like it's go time. The market's moving. We got about 30 minutes left. Can still catch a nice move up to the top. Lots of room up to the upside. Got to react quick here though, because it's moving. Still room to the downside to get to the initial balance a low. We're almost to the 786. That's a that's a spot. That's a spot. Lots of levels there. That's our entry. Yeah. Let's just stick with that. So we're down 21 on the day, but we're up about 800 on the day across all accounts. So we have a lot of levels right here. The weekly point of control, yesterday's close, and the 786 fib line. So I expect us to test that before making its way back up. We're looking to hold this for a while. So we're going to take on about $100 in risk. See what these ranges are right here. What's this range? How many ticks? 32 ticks. So 60. 30. So that's $100 right here in risk. And it goes back to the value area high. That could be our first target. So we're in the trade. We bounced off this area of interest. Which is also around the 786. Should come back to the 50. That's a pretty good trade right there. Okay, so we gonna re-enter here. Just wanted to lock in that profit. 100% re-entering here. Looks like we missed. We didn't get the entry, but maybe we retrace off this selling zone, consolidate here for a bit before we make our final decision on what to do for the day. Because we only have about 20 more minutes. So we do have these reversal zones here. So we do expect. I'm also going to enter a buy stop above here with a stop loss at the same spot and a take profit at the same spot. Just a little scalp. We'll enter a second contract down here. So we get entered, market's going wacko. Boom. Just like that. Fucking money. I love it. Do we get another entry? Is the question. What a day of trading. So at the moment, 164 and 80 is 240 or 200 and yeah, 240, 340, 400 plus 500. So we're up 900 right now. We did get filled again. Stop loss back here. Taking on $65 of risk to come back up to this selling effort zone to add another $47. Conservative target. Beautiful. So I think we're going to call it a day. Um, there may be another trade to be had. Um, these this buy sell effort, it's kind of going both ways. I mean, realistically, we should be able to make a move back up to the point of control, but it does look like we're getting a double distribution and we have some current value area setting up down here. Let's remove all the drawings because we don't need them anymore. And let's remove deep effort and IBVM. And that's what the day looks like. Big range day. We moved 324-ish points to the upside, and then 255 points to the downside. We use this as our swing high to swing low. We are currently at the 70% line. Properties, it's not what I want. And go to our main fib. We're below value area right now. Bounce right off that 786. Trace back up to the 618, drop back down to the 70.7. So my expectation for the day is for price to move its way back up to this area right here. So if I did take a position back up to the VWAP, we could get another 84 points. The question is, I don't really have a lot of time. It's 47 after, so we got 13 more minutes. And I'm perfectly good with our day. So that being said, I do anticipate price to, if I was to get in a position, I would get in right now and I would take price back up to the VWAP with my stop below. So we'll just leave this here, see if it plays out. We get stopped out. I guess we can see right now. And we get stopped out in our hypothetical trade. So what would be the next likely zone to get involved? It's right here. This is the next long. Still a little tight on that entry. Next entry would be here. Targeting the same area. Stop loss below the low. So I'll be interested to see if we even get filled, right? For this trade. But that would be the next entry. So we'll see how it plays out. Also, another re-entry could be right here on a buy stop. Right there. So that would be the buy stop. Just like that. All right, so I got a bounce. Looks like we're getting that move though. The buy stop gets initiated right there. So I can come back and check this later. $54. So this next minute of injection of liquidity, let's see what happens. Sellers getting liquidity goes up. We're going to take a quick scalp here. Just see, it's too good to be true. That was interesting. That's not what I expected. So we might just bounce out of this like now. See how this level gets protected. Not what I expected at all right there. In any case, we finished the day out ahead. 3 minutes to the close. $2. Reduce our risk. Crazy day of trading. Absolute fun. Fun, fun, fun. All right, so with that, I'm basically gonna get out of this trade at close. All right, market's closed. Let's just get out. All right, that's a wrap. Peace out, y'all.